Hey baby girls, so these are honestly some of the worst feet I've ever worked on, and I am not exaggerating. The thick build-up of hard skin that he had at the bottoms of the feet and the deep cracks which had been causing them to bleed was pretty bad. But trust the process, because by the end of this video these are going to look like brand new. Now let me show you how I'm going to fix them. So first, I'm starting off by soaking the feet. I just want to make sure they're nice and clean before we get into anything else. And I think people forget how relaxing it is to have your feet sitting in a hot, bubbly bath. And I'm using Tropics Body Scrub to gently scrub and exfoliate the feet. This is going to help remove the excess dirt. It's going to help start lifting that build up. And also it's going to help soften everything up before we get into the deeper restoration. Also, are you not all obsessed with this pedicure bowl? It's from a brand called Noel Asmar, and it's just so big and spacious. There's loads of space to work with inside, and it's really sturdy. So when like clients rest their feet on the edge, it doesn't wobble or tip over, which makes such a difference and helps so much when you're doing a pedicure. So for anyone watching this video, always make sure that after you get out of water, you're fully drying in between your toes and your feet. If you leave your feet moist or damp, it can create like the perfect environment for athlete's foot, which is a nightmare to get rid of, and also very itchy. So now I'm applying the 42% Urea cream all over the bottoms of the feet, and I'm really focusing and concentrating on that thicker area. And I'm going to let this sit for about 10 to 15 minutes so it can properly soften that hard skin. It gives the cream time to break everything down and loosens up that thick, stubborn build-up. So when I then go in with my file, the hard skin removes so much easier and so much more smoothly. You'll see in a bit. And I like to cover with a bag to lock in that heat and speed up the process. So while we're on the subject of the Urea cream, I know in my last pedicure video, I got a lot of comments saying I was using urine. Okay, let me explain this to you. The 42% Urea cream that I use does not contain urine. Some very rare or non-mainstream brands might use animal urine, but mine is completely synthetic and safe. So don't worry, there's absolutely no urine in my pedicures. So I'm just going to cut a little hole in the bottom of the bag so I can access the toes and work on them while the cream is doing its thing. And I'm just tidying up the toenails, which are actually in really good condition. Now, I know if you might be thinking that nail looks like a fungal toenail, but that isn't the case. A while ago, he dropped a wooden beam on his foot and the nail is still bruised from the incident. So it's just trauma, not a fungal infection. I've also noticed in a lot of my comments recently from my last pedicure videos that people are really quick to diagnose my clients. And I totally understand that some of you are trying to help and give me and my clients advice, and I really appreciate that. But sometimes I see comments like, your client has cancer, or your client has this and that, based on maybe a sign from their feet. For example, if you didn't know my client had just dropped something on their foot, you would be telling him that he has a fungal toenail, which is totally incorrect. I always make sure to let my clients know if I notice anything different or concerning, and I do this in a safe and professional space. So now I'm just working on the cuticles and I'm gently pushing them back, and I have to say I find this bit so satisfying. It's one of my favourite steps to a pedicure. So I know a lot of people always ask if cutting the cuticles hurt, and I think it's safe to say that he did not find it painful. In fact, he was completely relaxed and even fell asleep. So now I'm just going in, spraying and sanitizing the toes, and I'm just using a little bit of cotton wool just to get rid of any leftover bits of cuticles. Oh, and then I go in and hook out any sock fluff underneath the toenails. I'm then just going in with my electric file and I'm just gently thinning that toenail. Just to be clear, this isn't a fungal infection, it's just years of nail trauma and it looks brand new once the nail's been filed down. I'm then just giving the nails a gentle buff, smoothing out any ridges and making them nice and even. I'm then just spritzing the nails with some more nail sanitizer, and then I'm going in with some warm cuticle oil. So this is just some organic shea butter that I've popped into my wax heater to melt this, and I'll also be using this later on for the bottoms of the feet. I'm just making sure the towel steamer is nice and hot before I remove the bags from the bottom of the feet. Then I'm going to go in with some warm hot towels to remove all the urea cream. Honestly, this step feels unbelievable. The warmth of the cloth just soothes and relaxes the whole of the body whilst washing away all that urea cream. So then I prepare my foot rasp to tackle this thick, stubborn, hard skin. And then I start to work back and forth with my foot file, gradually removing all that build up. And at first you don't really see much coming off the heels, but as you keep at it, the hard skin begins to loosen and eventually it collects into like these little balls of skin. It's so satisfying watching it all come away. Just look at the difference in the bottom of this foot. I'm giving it a spray with my foot sanitizer and already you can see all that hard skin has been completely removed. The foot literally looks like a normal foot. In fact, it looks even better than a normal foot. Now I'm packing in loads of moisture using my warm shea butter straight from the wax heater, and I'm applying it all over the bottoms of the feet with a fan brush. This step feels absolutely incredible. The warmth of the oil melts into every bit of the skin, leaving it feeling soft, nourished, and completely rejuvenated. So while the oil soaks into that foot, I'm moving on to the other one. I'm removing the urea cream and washing it away with my warm hot mitts. And then I'm going to go in with my foot file to tackle all the thick, stubborn buildup of the hard skin. And I am not joking when I say I actually had to stand up to tackle this foot. The cracks were super deep and I really wanted to work on thinning out that thickened skin as much as possible so that the cracks wouldn't keep occurring. I then went in with my electric foot file to make absolute sure that all that thick, stubborn skin was fully removed. So to do this job right, you really need a little bit of passion. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but I've had pedicures before when the foot filing felt super rushed and I left still thinking, oh my God, there's so much hard skin left on the bottoms of my feet. But when I used to do pedicures regularly, I always used to take my time and I used to make sure all the hard skin was completely removed, even if it took a lot longer. It's these little details that really set my pedicures apart from the average ones. And this is also why my pedicures used to take a lot longer than most. I never used to rush the process because that extra detail really did make a massive difference. Now I'm ready for the paraffin wax and I've melted it into the perfect warmth and I'm brushing it all over the soles. It locks in the oil, hydrates the skin and helps relax the body. It's so good for tired feet, arthritic feet, and honestly the warmth and the weight of the wax feels absolutely amazing. I feel like this used to be such an old-fashioned treatment, but lately it's become really fashionable again, and I just absolutely love it. I've wrapped the feet for about 10 minutes and now it's time to remove the bags along with the paraffin wax. And I cannot wait to show you this transformation. To finish, I'm using some Callus foot moisturiser to lock in that hydration some more. Doing a job like this is just so rewarding. Yes, the skin will harden again over time, of course, but if you stay on top of it and have regular treatments, it really makes a huge difference. Oh, and let me tell you, this is not a different set of feet, and this is definitely not AI. I recently saw people arguing in comments because I hadn't replied to everyone asking how to book this treatment, and some people were even saying it looked like a different set of feet. Well, let me tell you this. This is a before and after, and this is a real set of feet, and I have really transformed this foot in one appointment that took me in total 2 hours. Anyway, here's a reminder of what the feet looked like before. Thick layers of built up hard skin and super deep cracks. Now just look at the difference. For some of you, I know they really do look like a completely different set of feet. I am so happy with how it turned out. What a transformation. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.